algorithm. So before going to this practical, first of all, we will learn why this scheduling is important and what are their different algorithms are there that we can use for scheduling this job. So aim of this practical is write a C program to implement FCFS algorithm for job scheduling. Right? For this one, you need to know about this scheduling. So we will go for the scheduling. So this is the related to CPU scheduling. So it is a process which allows one process to use the CPU while the execution of another process is on hold. Why there is a hold of this execution of process? Due to the unavailability of resources like memory, input output devices like that. So what happens? Number of the processes are there into the ready queue, right? So CPU scheduling means what? You have to schedule all the process for the execution, right? To make the system efficient, to make the system fast and fair, right? So now what are these optimization criteria? So first of all, we know that we have to utilize the maximum time of your CPU. So max CPU utilization should be there. CPU should not go into idle condition. Next, that is the max throughput should be there, means your maximum output you have to get from this algorithm, right? Then minimum turnaround time, then minimum waiting time should be there, and minimum response time should be there. Minimum response time means it should be fast. Minimum waiting time means what? Your process should not go into the waiting condition, right? So one by one we will see these parameters. So these are the scheduling criteria. So first, CPU utilization. So try to keep your CPU busy, right? CPU should not go into idle condition. Just remember this one. That's why we are scheduling all the processes. So next throughput, that is the number of the processes that complete their execution per unit time. Then turnaround time, amount of time to execute a particular process, that is called as a turnaround time. Next, waiting time is there. So amount of time a process has been waiting in the ready queue, that is called as a waiting time for that process. Next, in ready queue means what? The process is ready for the execution, only waiting for the CPU. Once the CPU time is allocated to that process, then immediately that process will start the execution. Okay, so here waiting time is process is waiting for the CPU. The next one, response time. So amount of time it takes from when the request was submitted until the first response is produced. Okay, it is not the output, means final response. Okay, so for that final response means when process is completed, it is called as a throughput. But response time means process is in the ready queue, ready for the execution, and then CPU is allocated, and that first response is produced, that is called as a response time. Then fairness, every process should get the fair chance to execute. Suppose 10 processes are there, so every process should get the CPU time. It should not like that one process is remain into the waiting condition. That process will not get the CPU for the execution. Okay, so here you have to check that every process should get the fair chance for the execution. So now next one. So these scheduling are divided into two types. One is we can call preemptive scheduling. Second one, non-preemptive scheduling. So preemptive means what? The resources are allocated to the process. Here resources, first of all, we will focus on the CPU. The CPU is allocated to the process for the limited amount of time. This is very, very important. And then it is taken away, right? So, and the process is again placed back in the ready queue if that process still has the CPU burst time remaining. Okay, so burst time means what? That processing time of this process. Suppose we have allocated the 10 millisecond to your process. So that 10 millisecond is a limited amount of time. It is called as a quantum. We have seen little bit about this into the time sharing system in our theory lecture. So that quantum time is allocated to each process. Suppose after the 10 millisecond, that process is incomplete. Okay, so that process goes into the ready queue because इसको ज़्यादा time चाहिए CPU का, and here the scheduling is preemptive, means that process will get only the limited amount of time, that is quantum time. If it is incomplete, again that process goes into the ready queue and waiting for the CPU time. Right? जब तक वो finish नहीं होती तब तक वो ready queue में जाएगी. Once it is completed, then you can say that it is complete and it will come out from this loop. So the currently running process may be interrupted and move to the ready state by OS. Why this interruption or preemptive is there? Preemption takes place into your current process because sometimes what happens, time period is expired. Right? That means that quantum time, जो भी time assign किया है, that is expired. So that process is interrupted. Stop the execution, and that process goes into ready queue. Second one, sometimes what happens ki higher priority process is there. Okay, higher priority task comes into the ready queue. So you have to stop the execution of the current process and you have to jump for the execution of your highest priority task. Okay, at that time you can interrupt your current process, you can preempt your process. The next one, block process becomes unblocked and has higher priority. So you can see here, suppose one process is in the block condition, right? So now suddenly it is unblocked and you can see in the ready queue that that process has the highest priority. So immediately you have to stop the execution of your current process and you have to execute this highest priority task, right? So this is a preemptive schedule. Now opposite to this preemptive is non-preemptive schedule. Right? So what will happen in this? Once you allocate the CPU time to the process holds the CPU till it gets terminated or it reaches a waiting state. Here you have to just remember, एक बार CPU process को मिलता है तो वो process उसको छोड़ती है. कब तक नहीं छोड़ती? Either it is terminated by herself or maybe terminated by the CPU, or that process goes into the waiting state. Why that process goes into the waiting state? Because of unavailability of resources. Suppose CPU time is allocated to the P1 process, right? But also the requirement for the execution for that process is the keyboard, one input device, and that keyboard is unavailable for that moment. So what will happen? That process goes into the waiting state and waiting for the keyword, and that process releases the CPU for the execution of the other, right? So these are the means examples for this non-preemptive. So once the process is in the ready state, it continues to execute until it terminates itself, as we have discussed. So CPU process does not release that CPU till it gets terminated itself. Next one, it blocks itself to wait for the input output. Right, means it is waiting for the input output and it requires the OS service. We have seen the OS service. There is a process management, memory management should be there, allocation of input output devices. A lot of services are provided by this OS. So process requires the OS service. Obviously for that one it goes into the waiting for this OS service, so that process releases the CPU, right? So this is the means little bit understanding related to this preemptive and non-preemptive. So now next one, based on this we have to learn 3 algorithms. First one, that is the FCFS. Second one, S-shape is there, and third one is round robin algorithm. So in our practical session, we have to write the code for this first come first serve algorithm. This is one of the very basic scheduling algorithms. So now this algorithm simply schedules the jobs according to their arrival time. Right? For each process, there is a arrival time, and second one, that is the burst time. Burst time means processing time of that process. The job which comes first in the ready queue will get the CPU first. How you can decide the sequence of this process? By using this arrival time. We will solve the example. So now what is the advantages of this FCFS? It is very simple, right? Then it is easy and first come first serve. So we know that if there are the advantages at the same time, disadvantages are also there. So the scheduling method is non-preemptive, right? So the process will run to the completion. जब तक complete नहीं होता, that process will not release the CPU. Now you know the meaning of preemptive and non-preemptive. So due to the non-preemptive nature of the algorithm, the problem of starvation may occur. So this starvation is a very interesting topic. So I will just tell you, starvation means what? One process is there in the waiting condition or in the ready queue, and that process will not get the CPU time for a long duration. Right? Means it always waiting for the CPU. Suppose maybe the highest priority task is there, maybe the your current process is very long, lengthy, so it takes too much time for the execution. So some processes are in the starvation. So this is one problem, and again there is a solution for this starvation. Now next one, although it is easy to implement, but it is poor in performance since the average waiting time is higher as compared to other scheduling time. So what is our aim optimization criteria? If you remember that we have seen in the previous slide, so minimum waiting time should be there. Obviously, no. So our process should wait the less for the CPU, right? So when you find the average waiting time, it is higher for this FCFS as compared to other scheduling times. So this is one of the disadvantage of this FCFS. Okay, so I hope that you get means something about this FCFS. Now we will solve how we can solve the example by using this FCFS algorithm. So now you can see here one table is there, right? So in that table, three things are given. So processes, then arrival time, and then burst time is there. So if you observe, so 1, 2, 3, 4, four processes are there. The same for each process, arrival time is there. So P1, it is 0. For P2, it is 2. P3, 3. P4, 5. Then burst time. Burst time is processing time for each process. For P1, processing time is 5. P2, it is 4. P3, 7. P4, 6. So these are the given things. So in today's program, these are the user inputs. You have to give this user input. Okay. So based on then, what is the next you have to do? So you have to draw first of all Gantt chart. Right. So we will solve this example. So always check the arrival time. So maybe means for this sequence arrival time is different. For example, instead of 2, here is the 5, and here instead of 5, here is the 2. So first of all, decide the sequence of execution of your process. So now sequence is check arrival time. First one is P1. So P2 ka 5. So we cannot execute this P2 right now. So 0 ke baad check the next one, that is 2. So P4. So next one is 3, that is a P3, and then there is a P2. So you did a mistake in the exam. My experience is that you check this sequence. Yes, first P1 आएगी, then P2 आएगी, P3 आएगी, P4 आएगी. No. your sequence will be decided by this arrival time. It is totally depend on this arrival time. Right? Suppose 0, 2, 3, and then 5 is there. Our previous example. Then your sequence is P1, P2, P3, P4. Okay. So now next check the bus time. So bus time is there. Okay, in FCFS bus time, we means our output is not dependent on this bus time. We means this bus time will not change the sequence. So it is simple. Maybe it is 5, 4, 7, 6. We are not going to observe this bus time, but we are going to observe or carefully. We have to see this arrival time to decide the sequence of processes. Okay. So now we will solve this one. So first process is P1, arrival time is 0. So now right here, that is the 0. You started with the 0th arrival time. What is the name of this process? Then P1. Right? What is the required bus time? That is the 5. So completion time is 5. So what is the meaning in this Gantt chart? Your process start with the 0, 0 time. P1 start हो गया and it is completed on the 5. 5 कैसे आया? Processing time. Now your current time is 5. Check next process. What is this? P2. What is arrival time? 2. Is it possible to execute P2? Yes. Check whether this current जो arrival time है वो current time means check whether it is achieved or not. Now our current time is 5. Arrival time is 2. So obviously we can execute. Suppose opposite होता है, your current time is 2 and your arrival time is 5. You cannot execute this process because इसका arrival time अभी तक achieve नहीं किया हमने. It is not arrived. Now this P2 process is ready in the ready queue for the execution. Already it is there on the suppose 2 seconds के वक्त ही वो आके बैठ गई. So you can execute this P2. So take this P2 for the execution. So what is the burst time for this P2? 4. Right? So anyone can tell me what is the completion time for this P2? Anyone can guess? Burst time is 4 for this P2. So क्या आ सकता है? At least guess the answer. Yes. यथार्थ?
I don't know.
Burst time is 4 and now your P2 start with the current time, that is the 5. So what will be the completion time? Yes. Can you guess? Okay, next.
It's 9.
Yeah, good. It's 9. You can see here, that is what I have told you. Burst time means it is processing time required for this process, right? So now here you can see for the first process, it is started with the 0. The burst time is 5. So 0 plus 5. So your completion time is 5. So next process is P2. Okay, वो arrive हो गए क्या? Yes, it is arrived. So we can take that process for the execution. So now here it is started with the 5 and then it will complete after its processing time. So 5 plus 4, it is 9. Okay, so next one is P3. Check whether arrival time is less than your current time. Yes, arrival time is 3 and your current time is 9. So it means that already it is in the ready queue, right? So we can take this process for the execution. So अभी आ गई process execution के लिए. So what is the processing of the burst time? That is the same. So how you can write here, that is completion time for this P3? Just add, process started with the 9, right? So processing time is 7. 9 plus 7, I think it is 16. Okay, if I am wrong, then please let me know. So P3 कब finish होगा आपका 16 को 16 कैसे आ गया 9 plus 7 7 is a processing time. प्रोसेस होने के बाद उतना टाइम लगेगा ना उसको प्रोसेस को P3 को स्टार्ट हुआ 9 से एंड दैट P3 will take to suppose 7 millisecond लेते हैं राइट so 7 millisecond. So add this 7 millisecond into 9. So your completion time for this P3 is 16 millisecond. So now next one. Next process है क्या? Yes, there is a P4. So first of all, check whether arrival time is less than your current time. Yes, it is less than. It is 5, it is 16. So easily we can take this process. Process is ready for the execution. Take that process into the execution queue. So अभी process कब खत्म होगी? Now current time is 16. Start कब हो गई? 16 को. Right? What is the processing time? 6. So now 16 plus 6, I think it is 22. Right? So now this is your complete Gantt chart. Next process है क्या? No, P5 is not there. So you have to stop. Total 4 processes. Right? So by observing this Gantt chart, you have to find the values for the parameters. Right? Criteria parameters we have seen. So first of all, find out the turnaround time. So what is the formula? Completion time minus arrival time. So before going to this turnaround time, we have to find out completion time. कैसे निकालना है? I will tell you. So now waiting time. Next parameter is waiting time. What is the formula? Turnaround time minus burst time. Burst time is this one. Arrival time is this one. So already turnaround time हमने find out किया. Now subtract करो burst time. Next average turnaround time. So total turnaround time divided by total number of processes. Total turnaround time means just add all the turnaround time of your all the processes. 4 processes are there, add karo and divide by number of processes. How many processes are here? 4 processes. Divide by 4. Now next average waiting time. So same, we are going to find the waiting time. Already we have found it for the each process. Just add all the waiting times divided by the total number of processes. Okay, so these are the formulas to calculate it. So we will solve this one. So you can see here. So arrival time, burst time is there. Right? So now completion time मैंने कैसे लिखा है? So for the first process P1, suppose I will just, it is easy but I will do it in front of you. So now P1 का completion time कैसे find out करें? P1 is started with the 0 and P1 finish at the 5. You can see here. The completion time for this P1 is 5. Now go for the P2. So P2 observe karo in the Gantt chart. So start with the 5 and with the 9. So completion time is 9 for this P2. Go to the next P3. So start with the 9 and P3 and with this 16. So completion time is 16. Then P4. Go to the P4. 16 and 22. So 22 is the, you can say that completion time is there. Right? So remaining this is simple. Turnaround time का क्या formula है? Completion time minus arrival time. Right? So completion time. So 5 minus arrival time, that is 0. So answer is 5. So 9 minus 2. So answer is 7. 16 minus 3. So 16 minus 3 is 30. And next one, completion time for P4 is 22 minus 5. Answer is 70. Right? So you can also do the calculations. Okay. Suppose मेरा गलत हुआ तो please let me know. Because based on these values, next value is there. So suppose you did a mistake in finding out this completion time, then your turnaround time भी गलत होगा, waiting time भी गलत होगा. It is totally depend on each other. So now waiting time. What is the formula? Turnaround time minus burst time. So turnaround time minus burst time. So 5 minus 5, 0. So 7 minus 4, that is 3. 13 minus 7 means 6. Right? Next 17 minus 6, that is 11. Okay. So now your table is ready. Okay, and I expected this output. This is our output. Okay, so same table. Processes, arrival time, burst time, completion time, turnaround time, and waiting. Okay, so ये हमें अभी display करना है. Again, one more thing you have to find, that is average turnaround time and average waiting time. I told you average turnaround time is total turnaround time. So check total turnaround time. How you can find out? 5 plus 7 plus 13 plus 70. Divided by क्या होगा? Total number of processes. Processes are 4. ठीक है? Calculation करो और मुझे बताओ. Next is average waiting time. So go to the waiting time column. So 0 plus 3 plus 6 plus 11 divided by total number of processes, that is 4. Okay, so this is your float. You have to declare these two variables as a float, and all the remaining you can declare or define as a integer. No problem. So yes, anyone? Kiसी ने find out here answer? What is the average turnaround time?
10.5.
Sorry,
10.5.
1.5.
10.5.
10.5. Good. And then average waiting time?
5.
Only 5, right? Okay. So now this is our answer. So now you have to write the program for this SFS. So, and in display on your terminal, you have to display this table and these two values. Okay. Any doubt in this example? कुछ doubt है? Any doubt कि ma'am, I don't understand how this time is you have calculated. नहीं होगा तो then we will go to the code. ठीक है, understood? Yes or no? All of you, please.
Understood.
Okay. So now,
Can you go to the previous slide once?
okay, previous this one. Explain करो क्या फिर से?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Gantt chart, no? So now here, so I will again draw this Gantt chart in front of you. So first of all, you have to check the arrival time for each processes. Okay, so because the FCFS works on this arrival time. First come first serve है ना, तो first come first serve के लिए हमें time check करना पड़ेगा. Okay, वो नाम कुछ भी हो सकते हैं, that is A, B, C, D. यहाँ पे P1, P2 है, so don't confuse. Means होते हैं students always consider this P1, P2 sequence for the execution. No, ABCD नाम होगा तो आप कैसे करोगे? Suppose कुछ भी दिया, MIT नाम दिया, ATT कुछ भी नाम हो सकता है process को. So don't check, means go with these names of these processes. Check the arrival time. Okay? So first process कौन से आ गई? That is the 0th one. That is the P1. Next one is check ascending order 2. Next one is 3. Next one is 5. Now decide the sequence. Right? So now we will start to first of all draw this Gantt chart. So first process, check the arrival time 0. So 0 से start होगा. Right? Always start with the 0. Next one, कौन सी process है on the 0? That is your P1. So what is this? Burst time means processing time. It is 5. So P1 will take the 5 millisecond for the execution. It is started with the 0. So finish कब होगी P1? What is the current time at that time? That is 0 plus this burst time 5. So your completion time for this P1 is 5. अभी process खत्म हो गया. Now your current time is 5. It is not 0 because we travel from 0 to 5. We executed first process. Check next process. That is the peak. What is the arrival time? It is 2. Okay, your arrival time should be less than your current time. Okay, suppose it is 7, 10. So you cannot execute this P2 because तब तक हमारा current time achieve नहीं हुआ, तक हम गए नहीं हो, time हुआ ही नहीं है. So we cannot execute that one. The arrival time is 2 milliseconds, means already that process is in the ready queue and it is ready for the execution. Already आके बैठी है and waiting for the CPU time. So you can allocate the CPU time for this P2. So take here that is the P2 for the execution. So now starting time for this P2 is 5 and कब complete होगी? That 5 plus processing time. So इसको कितना time चाहिए? 4 millisecond for the execution. So 5 plus 4, that is 9. Right now current time is 9. Check the remaining process. कौन से रह गए? P3 and P4. Check the arrival time. It is 3, it is 5. So पहले कौन आएगी? P3 आएगी. So it is 3 millisecond arrival time. And our current time is 9. So we can easily take this process for the execution. We can allocate the CPU for the execution. So take your P3 for the execution. So what is the burst time of the processing time required? That is the same. So कैसे complete time होगा उसका? 9 plus 7. Start कब हो गई? 9. 9 में 7 add करो. So 9 plus 7, that is 60. Right? So check. Next process है क्या? Yes, it is P4. What is arrival time? 5. What is our current time? 60. So means already process is ready. 5 millisecond के वक्त ही वो ready होके बैठी है. Only waiting for the CPU time. So we will allocate the CPU for the execution. So that process is there for the execution. So कितना time देगी for execution? 6 millisecond. तो कब complete होगी? 16 plus 6 means 22. Next process है क्या? No. So you have to stop. This is called as a Gantt chart. Now your Gantt chart is ready, right? And then next go to the first one, find out the completion time. Completion time is very easy. Observe this Gantt chart. P1 का completion time is 5, P2 का 9, P3 का कब finish हुआ? 60, P4 का 22. So here now your table is ready, and next two parameters are very simple. Only the formula that you have to use: completion time minus arrival time and turnaround time minus burst time.
Yes, ma'am. Those two columns are understood.
Understood, no?
Yes.
Good. And next, this is simple one.
Yes.
Okay. So now here only the means in your code you have to think that how we can find this completion time, because ये दोनों तो बहुत easy है. These 4 parameters are very easy because उन्होंने directly formula दिया है. So only you have to think how we can find this completion time. हम कैसे लिख सकते हैं completion time. Okay, so we will see the code. So now, as I told you that the first table is your, we can say, user input. I have told you this one. So processes, arrival time and burst time. आपको देना है code को input, right? So now, कैसे होगा? Enter the number of processes. So it is 4. Then enter arrival time and burst time for each process. So first process का arrival time, burst time. Second process arrival time, burst time. Then arrival time, burst time. So 4, last one, 3 and 5. Right? And then solution means your output. So as I told you, I want the output like this one, complete this table and these 2 parameter values. Okay? So my table is like this one. Number of the processes, then AT, BT, CT, turnaround time, waiting time. AT means arrival time, burst time, completion time, turnaround time, waiting time. In में average turnaround time, average waiting time. Okay? So ये मेरा output है on the terminal. So now go to the code. So add all the libraries. So next, this is your main function. Okay. So now here just remember for each time we have to define here arrays because number of the values are there, right? So we will store all the values into array. So BT, I have used this array for burst time. Size is 10 and initialize all the arrays with the 0 value. सारे location पे 0 save करना है. Right? Why it is? Because maybe you will get the wrong answer. It will take the garbage value because we are storing there, right? So initialize all the arrays with the 0. So define one array for arrival time, same for the turnaround time, waiting time, completion time. And you can see initially it is, we can say that added the 0 value into this array. Next, n, this small n indicate the total number of processes. Then sum is used, one random variable for the storing your result. Next, float किया है total turnaround time and total waiting time. So declare it as a float. Okay. So initialize with is a 0. Okay. So now here always you have to use the for loop. So printf, enter the number of processes. Suppose you enter here 4. So scanf %d and %n अपने 4 enter. Then obviously you have to enter arrival time and burst time for each process. So now it is not only the one process, so 4 processes are there. So use the for loop. So for loop, so int I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Okay. So opening. So क्या करना है? Only you have to give the arrival time and burst time. But कुछ नहीं करना. The arrival time of the process %d. So I plus 1. So 0 to 0 plus 1. That is 1. So if only we have changed this indexing. 0 से start किया है ना. So we are displaying it with the 1. So first 2, 3 like this one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the I plus 1. Suppose you want to start with the 0, you can write only I, no problem. Okay, enter your value. Then same for the burst time, printf and scanf statement. Enter your value. I have just added the new line. Okay, that's a slash, and this is my complete for loop to get the user input for this arrival time and burst time. Okay. So now next I have told you only we have to think how we can find the completion time. वही सिर्फ एक logic है, बाकी का सब formula ready है for the other parameter. So here just now concentrate कि how we are going to find this completion time. So for loop integer j equal to 0, j less than n, j plus plus, because here now n is 4, no? Total 4 values we have to find. So take this one simple example. Suppose starting point is 0, ending with 5. Same for the 9. Means in general, I have draw this Gantt chart. 0, 5, 9. See values लिखे 0, 5, 9. So now first is j equal to 0, right? So sum is one random variable. Sum equal to sum plus burst time of that 0th location. Or you can say that first process. तो पहले तो सम में हमने क्या शॉर्ट किया है 0 वैल्यू. So 0 plus burst time of that current process. What is the burst time? So 0 to 5 means obviously burst time is total 5. You can see here burst time is 5. So we have to add that burst time. So 0 plus 5. So what is the value into the sum? That is the 5. Right? So now next step. So completion time equal to completion time plus sum. But here now completion time on the jth location. Suppose here this is your CT. Means completion time array is there, and already we have said the 0th value on each location. So first j equal to 0. What is the value for this one? That is the 0. Plus क्या करना है हमें? Sum add करना है. What is the current value of this sum? That is the 5. What is the value in your CT? That is the 5. So the 0 will get replaced with the 5 for the first iteration. Now this is the completion time of your first process. Check whether it is correct. Yes, it is the 5. You can see. Right? So now we will go to the next iteration. Next is j equal to 1 now. So sum equal to, we know that sum plus burst time. So next iteration में क्या होगा? Sum. So now current value of the sum is 5. So 5 plus burst time of your next process. What is the burst time of your next process? That is the 4. So it will take, that is the 4. What is the current value into your sum? 5 plus 4, that is the 9. Now it is second iteration. So now we will go to find this completion time. So we know that completion time of that jth location. Now j is 1. So j की 1 की value क्या है? Location की 0. So 0 plus current value of your sum. Sum की current value क्या है? 9. So your answer is 9. So what is the completion time for your second process? That is 9. Correct है क्या? Check. Yes, it is correct. It is next. So logic is very simple. You can see. पहले हमने क्या किया? We find the sum. Only we are going to add the post time into your completion, and then assign this sum to your completion time. You store this sum into your completion time array. Right? So here you will get the completion time for each process, and you store that value into your array. Right? So next one. Next is turnaround time and waiting time. So very simple. Use the for loop. What is the formula for this turnaround time? That is completion time for this gate location minus arrival time for this gate location. So already your array for this completion time is ready. So you have done the iterations and you store the value into this value. So take the 5 minus arrival time for this first process. That is a 0. So 5 minus suppose 0. That is your total turnaround time. And save that value into one of the variable, that is total turnaround time. Why it is useful? You can see when we find the average turnaround time, we are going to add this one. Because in that loop itself, you find this addition. Okay, so store करो इस loop में. First आएगा 5, then आएगा next one. ऐसे करके store करते जाओ. Right? So कितने time पे वो 4 times that loop will get executed, and you are finding the turnaround time for each process, and you have stored it into array. Next parameter, what is that? Waiting time. What is the formula? Simple. Turnaround time minus burst time of this each process, and store that into your total waiting time. वो add करते जाना है. तो simple, नया time इसमें. So your total waiting time is ready in this loop. ठीक है? These two loops are very simple. And what is the next? हो गया ना? Now you have finished. You have find turnaround time, waiting time. Now you have to display the results. So display it. Printf, suppose solution, you can give here the output also. Any name, I have just given the solution. Then printf. So I want the table. So number of the processor, then arrival time, burst time, completion time, turnaround time, waiting time. These are my columns, right? And next simple one for loop to display these results. So क्या क्या करना है? Yes, first that is number of the process P1, P2, P3. Next that is arrival time. Next burst time, completion time, turnaround time, waiting time. Right? And at the end you have to find this average turnaround time and average waiting time. Just divide this total time divided by n. Same for the waiting. And you will get there. That is the result. So that is written 0. Understood? Yes or no? समझ में आया? How we are going to write the code for this FCFS? आया क्या समझ?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
good. Now start to do the code and check whether are you getting the same result for this example. Your theoretical answer should be matched with your practical. You can use this example that I have shown here, or you can use our previous example to check whether the results